It's Friday, you guys, which means it's time for another food hack. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, tips for all shades of mom life. And in today's video, I am back to share with you another food hack. And I am super excited to share these with you because these were absolutely fantastic. So if you guys are new to my channel or to this segment, I used to share something called Food Hack Fridays that basically got inspired from a book that I found at the Dollar Tree. And the book was written by the founding editor of BuzzFeed.com, and her name is Peggy Wang. And if you don't know what BuzzFeed is, that is one of the top places to report on viral content. So if you want to know what's going viral right now, she is the place to go to. Her website, BuzzFeed.com. And so she wrote this book called Food Hacks, and it was found at the Dollar Tree. And when I found it, I knew that I wanted to share segments with you guys. There was breakfast hacks and meal hacks, snack hacks, and side dish hacks. And some of the things I had read in that book truly blew my mind. And then once I made them and set them up for you guys to see, I fell in love and I started doing them over and over again. And then someone sent this to me. So she also wrote dessert and booze hacks, which in my opinion, dessert and booze is the way better option to go. And that's what I have to share with you guys today. So I have 3 dessert hacks and 2 booze hacks. And you guys, they're all 3 ingredients or less, and all super easy ingredients to find right now. So I'm really excited to share it with you. I think you guys are going to love them. And I'll make sure to link up above and down below my food hack playlist. So if you guys want to catch up on past ones, it'll be linked up above and down below. But I'm excited to show you guys these. So let me take you down to the counter and I'll show you what I've been hacking out of this book. So today we're starting out with our dessert hacks, and our dessert hacks are all fruit. Super delicious, but super easy. And the first one we're starting out with is chocolate chip stuffed raspberries. So it says, if you find raspberries a little too healthy, always remember that a chocolate chip fits perfectly inside of one. A bowl of these cute little niblets exudes a restrained simplicity that is perfectly elegant for serving anytime. And so all we literally need is some fresh raspberries, and then I'm using the Lily's chocolate chips so that I can keep this more on a low carb, sugar free style. You guys can do this with any kind of chocolate chips that you want, but like I said, I wanted to make this a little bit more on the keto side. So literally, you guys, you're going to take your raspberry and you're going to stuff the chocolate chip with the point side down into the raspberry. I mean, it's literally that simple. So I went ahead and stuffed all of these raspberries with the chocolate chips, and I ended up putting this on a big fruit platter that I brought with me to our little treehouse getaway. It was literally that simple, you guys, and super delicious. So next up on our dessert train is these simple but amazingly tasting salted chocolate cuties. And if you guys know anything about the combination of sea salt and dark chocolate, you guys know it's an absolute game changer. So this says this fancy recipe takes less than 10 minutes to prepare and manages to live up to its name. The chocolate dipped clementine slices are damn cute, and they're perfectly bite-sized for snacking, yet healthy enough that you won't need to unbutton your pants mid-consumption. So basically all we need here is 3 ingredients. So I have a couple of clementines here, and then in this little bowl I have those Lily's chocolate chips. Again, still wanted to keep it on the sugar-free as low carb carb side as possible. And then I have my sea salt grinder. So the sea salt grinder definitely makes a huge difference because you want those nice pieces of salt. You really don't want to use like iodized table salt. You want that nice big chunk of salt. And then that's it. You're going to go ahead and peel all of your clementines. And then I went ahead and took that little ramekin that had the chocolate chips right in it and stuck that right in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Be careful. That was almost too much time. I almost burnt the chocolate. So just do it in 15-second intervals is my suggestion. And then once you have a creamy texture to your chocolate, you're going to go ahead and start dunking your clementines. Now you only want to dunk them halfway down into the chocolate. You want a little bit of the orange to stick out on the top. And then I did them either 4 or 5 at a time, and then went and came back and sprinkled the salt on them so that the chocolate was still good and wet for the salt to stick. My only suggestion would be to let the oranges dry a little bit. If they're juicy and wet, then it starts to make the chocolate almost coagulate a little bit. And then I just stuck them on a piece of wax paper in the fridge for just about an hour until they got completely hard. And then you guys, these were so delicious. And this to me is a guilt-free snack. I know for some diets like keto and stuff, oranges still aren't good, but I do not care. These are amazing. These went on that platter with the raspberries too, and they were just so darn good. Now we're at our last fruit hack, and you guys, it's another 2-ingredient recipe. So I don't care what anybody says, you don't need to have a long stack of ingredients to have a recipe. And this says perhaps it's not ice cream as you normally think of it, but it does make a deliciously creamy frozen dessert without an ice cream maker or a bunch of crazy ingredients. And you can modify it in whatever way tickles your fancy. Add coconut flakes, peanut butter, mini chocolate chips. But this recipe basically calls for 6 peeled and ripe bananas and 1 cup of Nutella or some kind of hazelnut spread. And all you're going to do is stick both of them in the blender and give it a good zhuzh until it's super creamy and good to go. And then you're going to pour it into a container that is freezable and put it in the freezer until frozen. I left mine out for just a little bit, about 10 minutes, just to get soft enough to show you guys the consistency, because it does freeze hard, not exactly like ice, but more like the Rebel ice cream, the way that kind of needs to sit for a little while. But once I let it sit, it almost came out to be like a gelato or a spumoni kind of texture. Just so good. Added a little bit of whipped cream, and the kids put a little bit of sprinkles on top. And this was a amazing ice cream for just using nothing but bananas and Nutella. So that draws a close to our dessert and fruit hacks, and now we're on to a booze hack, and this is called the Cali Moto. This says this is a real drink. Just fill a glass half with red wine and half with Coke or Diet Coke. All the teenagers who live in Spain drink it, and it is my favorite drink of all time. It helps me to met out my drinking so I don't get too drunk too fast, and the soda really tempers the nasty aftertaste of crappy red wine, especially if you're at a bar or venue that isn't really known for its wine selection. Sometimes I like to add a squeeze of lemon as well. It's one of those don't knock it until you've tried it drinks. And so you guys, let me tell you how blown away I was by this, and I've literally had this multiple times because I bought 2 bottles of this Stella Rosa Red Reserve. So I really have mentioned how much I love the Stella Rosa, and I get that from H-E-B, and I was dying to try this, especially since I was going to be with Vanessa. I know she likes her Coke, and she loves the red wine, the Stella Rosa, that she's the one who got me into it. So I was like, you know what? We're going to try this when we're on our little treehouse getaway. And I was ridiculous ridiculously blown away. So I just brought a stemless wine glass and I threw some ice inside, and then I filled half the glass with the red wine and then the other half of the glass with Coke. I did end up adding a little bit of lemon. I thought that would be a nice touch. Little trick, make sure you roll your lemon onto some kind of surface to get all the juices on the inside going. And I also put a little bit of the lemon around the rim of the glass just so that every sip you got that lemony flavor, and then I squeezed the lemon into the cup, and that was it, you guys. This was so good that we killed this bottle doing it just this way, and I've already, like I said, had it a bunch of times at home. So I highly recommend. It's definitely one of those don't knock it until you've tried it. And so now the next one is our champagne float, and I am all about champagne, so I was super excited to share this one with you guys. And this one says, a glass of champagne is never boring, but if you're entertaining guests, they'll undoubtedly be intrigued by this newfangled dessert drink. It's also a great way to make a cheap bottle of champagne taste like $1,000,000. And so this basically calls for a quart of lemon or raspberry sorbet, 1 bottle of champagne, and some mint for garnishing. So I did have a little bit of trouble finding sorbet. I looked everywhere. I checked my Walmart, I checked H-E-B. I could not find any kind of sorbet, but I did find this Minute Maid frozen lemonade. I almost bought sherbet since they did have a raspberry, a pineapple, and a mango sherbet. I thought those would have tasted really tropical and summery with this as well, but I did look it up online and I learned something for myself that day as well, is that sherbet is a form of a ice drink, but it has a little bit of milk in it. It's a cross between a ice and a ice cream, where a sorbet is literally just the frozen ice. And someone actually wrote on my grocery haul and said how easy it is to make a sorbet at home, which I've never tried to do, which is maybe something I'll try to do in the future. But this frozen lemonade worked out just fine. So I did end up putting in like half the container. I went back after I sipped it a little bit and felt like it needed a little bit more. I only showed you guys adding about 1/3 of the container, but I did end up adding like a full half, especially since I pretty much filled my glass with champagne. But once the bubbles kept going down, I kept topping off my drink and topping off my drink until I had a nice full glass. Again, I did go back and add a little bit more of this lemon sorbet, but then I topped it with the mint, and holy cow, you guys, I love this woman and all of her food hacks, because when she says like don't knock it until you've tried it, or you would never expect how good this would be, she's always incredibly right. I have discovered so many things that she has opened my eyes to that I wouldn't have tried unless I was filming these to share with you guys, and this is something I would drink over and over again. Okay, you guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I truly enjoyed sharing this with you guys because I feel like every single one of those hacks hit it out of the park. There was not one of them that didn't surprise me at the end. Literally, after completing each one, I said to myself, like, who knew? Who knew how simple it was to just put a chocolate chip inside of a raspberry and make it taste that delectable? Who knew you could just add bananas to Nutella inside of a blender and make ice cream that was frothy and creamy and so good? And Coke and red wine, like, all those things really did shock me, but they were all so incredible. Something I just couldn't wait to share with you guys. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I do have another food hack video coming up for you guys out of the other book really soon. So stay tuned for another Friday. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.